Hello darlings, this week's look is from the 2021 spring popular styles you already have in your closet fashion show. If you want to see how I go from this to this, then stick around. Let's get into it.
Yes, ma.
Okay, so right here you see me applying primer. Now I normally don't apply primer, but I got this primer as a free gift when I was ordering online. I like it. It is a good primer overall, but honestly, if you have a good skincare foundation before you start your makeup, you won't really need primer. Here I'm using an eyebrow pomade from Five & Below in the darkest shade. They only have two shades and it's the darkest one. I'm just using this to build a color foundation. It doesn't add that much pigmentation since I like my brows a bit darker. Then I use a creamy Nickak liner in dark brown to add more dimension. It makes the brows look a little bit fuller, but doesn't make it look drawn on. Then here I'm using a Wet n Wild skinny tip black liner to draw hair-like strokes. I had to keep warming up the tip because it kept getting dry. I didn't like that because it seems like a waste of product, but it did do the job. Eco Styler Gel. Recently, people have been using an eyebrow soap for a fuller, more natural look. This hair gel can be used as a cheap alternative method for the same effect. You can use it before or after you draw on your brows to keep the hairs in place and to keep product in place. I just take a clean eyebrow brush and stamp on a very small amount. If you do this gel as a first step, you can use a spoolie to brush the hairs up in place. Here is the final look. Using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the lightest shade, Light Ivory. I'm just putting it on my eyelids so that way I can make the eyeshadow pop. And normally I use 2 coats for like a regular brown or neutral color and 3 coats for a bright eyeshadow color. I'm using Jason Wu Hot Fluff lipstick in the shade Danish. I use it as a transition shade. It comes off as a cool tone chocolate shade on me, but the Target website shows a maroon-like swatch. Check it out yourself. It can be used as eyeshadow, blush, or lipstick, which you'll see later on. I just rub it on the back of my hand and use a dense brush to pack on the color. I was heavy-handed. So some of the concealer base was covered when I put on my transition shade, so I just added a bit more of that LA Girl Pro Concealer. For eyeshadow, we are using the Profusion Spectrun palette. We are only using this one yellow color. It was chalky and I used a lot of product to build up the color. I stamped the color in with a dense brush. Just really pack on that color on the lid. I also take it a bit higher into the crease. Then I use a fluffy crease brush to blend any harsh lines. Then I went in with my finger to really pack on the color. Again, we're going for a bright spring yellow. Even through all of this, just to get color payoff, I would still recommend this palette. Here is the finished look. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Concealer in the shade 470. I'm using it on the inner and outer corner of my under eye. Then I take the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Cinnamon in the center of my under eye. Go ahead and blend all of this out with a wet sponge. It wasn't as bright as I wanted, so I added more e.l.f. concealer. Then I blend some more, taking it to my temple to give a high defined cheekbone. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Fltr concealer in the shade 490. I always use a concealer that matches my foundation shade as a base before I put on foundation. It gives an airbrushed, full covered, but not cakey look. It also allows me to use less foundation to achieve a full covered, even base. Here's the finished look. For this look, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy Foundation in 375 Java. I apply the product on my sponge, then to my face, then blend. I had to keep switching hands because I was getting tired from blending. I gotta stop skipping arm day. And here is the finished look. To highlight the rest of my face, I'm using the Fenty Concealer in 470 and the e.l.f. Concealer in Deep Cinnamon. I switch between a brush a sponge because I find it easier to spread the product with a brush and then even and blend out with a sponge. Then I use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 40 to set my highlight concealer. I use this shade when I want a subtle, close to skin tone highlight. It has a red undertone and it's not too bright. Then I use the Fenty Pro Fltr powder in Coffee for the rest of my face. I switched between a sponge and a powder brush for the same reason. The sponge sets in the powder while the brush removes any excess powder and gives a more airbrushed finish. Sometimes you can sponge in too much powder and have spots that look cakey. The brush cleans that right up. Now for my second bath of the day, I'm using the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Setting Spray. Woo! Okay, so I don't like this highlighter. It's basically glitter. I had to use the setting powder to tone down the glitter. It's the e.l.f. Bite-Sized Face Duo in Coconut. I don't recommend it. We're almost done. So what you guys don't see is I added the black Wet n Wild liquid liner to the base of my lashes and mascara to darken and add volume and curl to my lashes. So remember the Jason Wu 3-in-1 products? Well, here it is as lipstick. I topped it off with Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Hot Chocolate. And for my third bath of the day, I be drowning, y'all. I am drowning. Here is the finished look. I was inspired by this look on Instagram. It's a beautiful, vibrant yellow for spring. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. How well did I do in recreating the look? Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a darling day.